How's it going, Shuffle Squad YouTube channel? My name is PrimeTimeWizardTV, and today we're taking a look at a new archetype that is technically not new. Yeah, we're playing the Hisuian Goodra VSTAR, and we're pairing it with Arceus VSTAR. So a Goodra VSTAR, or the Hisuian Goodra VSTAR, is one of the newer VSTARs from the Lost Origin set. It's the new tanky dragon in town. I guess we basically took an Arcdura, so Arceus Duraludon list, that's been doing great in the past couple of formats, and replacing the Duraludon with a Goodra VSTAR. Does it work? I definitely think so, especially in the current metagame, right? We want to hit stuff like the Lost Zone box, or possibly even Palkia, I think is a little bit of a better matchup. Just the fact that Goodra can heal as well as take a lot of damage. Yes, it doesn't necessarily block anything in particular, but just the fact that we have healing, we have a lot of HP, we have the damage reduction. I think it has a place in the metagame, and this specific list actually has been doing fairly well in the online circuit. Let's see if we can get some wins with it here today. But of course, if you want to buy any of these cards, don't forget to use TSS12 at Atlas TCG for physical cards and sealed products, or TSS5 for 5% off at the PTCGO store. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the deck list. Alright, this is the deck list that we're going to be bringing here today. Again, it should look fairly familiar. This is essentially Arc Duraludon. I took out Duraludon for Goodra and added a couple of other spicy cards for sure to help out with the current metagame. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at probably the most popular VSTAR ever printed. Probably one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful VSTAR. Arceus VSTAR, just been relevant since its printing. Has the attack Trinity Nova, 200 damage, search for a deck for 3 basic energy, and attach it to your Pokemon V in any way you like. This is essentially the main way we're going to be able to establish our Goodras, which, again, we're comparing this to the Lost Zone engine Goodra, right? And the reason why I've actually decided to go with this build instead is, as Goodra, you're a tanking style deck, right? You want to be able to take hits and last a couple of turns and essentially just capture the board state. And I think, yes, the Lost Zone engine is really good. It's the fastest way probably to get into a Goodra if you get lucky with your Lost Zone. But again, we're a tank style deck. That means our resources in deck are very, very important, like the Hyper Potions, the Crystal Caves, your boss's orders, and whatnot. Those are very important. And the fact that you can lose a lot of them to the Lost Zone with that engine makes me a little scared. That's why I prefer this Arceus V engine. And this deck actually has been doing well in the online circuit for sure. And yeah, I mean, it's essentially, again, Arcdura. We also have the ability Starbirth. Again, this allows you to... Honestly, in this deck, it's essentially find a double turbo energy and another card dot ability, because if you're not looking for double turbo energy, you're not using this ability, in my opinion, because you'd rather use the Goodra VSTAR ability just because that ability can essentially buy you an extra turn. But again, if you can't set up, that means you can't get playing. So Arceus VSTAR is a good backup ability. Believe it or not, Starbirth should be the backup ability. But again, if you don't have the double turbo, go ahead and use it. We're also playing, of course, the Arceus V. Trinity Charge is very relevant for a double turbo. For a double colorless energy, you attach 3 basic energy, another way to power up your Goodras for sure, just in case you go second and you get lucky. But here it is, the main star himself, the Moisture Star, the Goodra VSTAR. The attack Rolling Iron does 200 damage, and you take 80 less damage. You essentially give yourself an effective HP of 350, plus the Radiant Gardevoir 370, plus the Big Charm 400 HP. Effective 400 HP. That is not too bad. On top of, you have healing in Crystal Cave and Hyper Potions, plus your Moisture Star ability. Goodra should be able to stick at least a couple of turns for sure. And yes, the 200 damage is very relevant. You're essentially two-shotting everything on the field. However, this isn't Duraludon. Duraludon does 220. That means you can knock out any Pokemon V in existence before they go into VMAX anyway. That's something Goodra doesn't have the capability to unless you play something like the Choice Belt. It just depends on how you want to build your deck. But I'm opting for the just pure tanky version for sure. So we're two-shotting almost everything. Yeah, again, Moisture Star, just able to heal all damage from this Pokemon. Absolutely amazing ability. Essentially set your opponent back a turn if they don't take a knockout on the Goodra. Sometimes some people might have to three-shot the Goodra, and if Moisture Starring before that happens actually feels really, really good. The V, not too notable there. Slip and Trip could be something you could attack with turn 1, potentially. 60 damage, not too bad. Rolling Shell is just a weaker version of the Rolling Iron, but you know, it's if you don't have the V-Star, it's not a bad attack to have. For our techs here, we're playing one Radiant Gardevoir. Loving Veil ability does, this Pokemon takes 20 less from Pokemon V's. Very relevant. Very good Radiant ability there. And for a little bit of the tech here, we're playing Zamazenta V. This is the Dauntless Shield version. That means it prevents all effects of Pokemon VMAX's attacks to Zamazenta V. All damage done to Zamazenta V by Pokemon VMAX. This is here essentially for Kyurem. I've been debating this one slot actually could go to multiple other Pokemon depending on the metagame. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, there's another Zamazenta V that does 120 plus 30 for each prize card your opponent has taken. That means if they took 2, you're essentially taking knockout on a Kyurem VMAX. I've been debating on playing that instead of this. There's also, again, if we're expecting Miltank in the metagame, this deck does not have an out to Miltank. I could switch this out with something like an Aegislash or something. But right now, we're going to keep it as the Zamazenta V, just sticking with our wall theme for sure. For the item lineup, we have one Escape Rope, playing 2 Evolution Incense, 2 Hyper Potions. 2 Hyper Potions, very important here. We can heal 120 damage from our Goodra. We can essentially just attach a double turbo to heal that 120. Not too bad there. So very important too. I would like to have 3, but I think 2 should be workout. We're playing 1 Ordinary Rod just to reshuffle a couple of things. We're playing 3 Pokégear just to find more supporters for our ball counts. We're playing 4 Quick Ball, 3 Ultra Balls, not too bad there. 1 Switch. Playing 3 Crystal Cave. Again, it's absolutely amazing to be able to heal 30 in almost every turn. And again, against stuff like Lost Box, where they can't one-shot you no matter what, and they have to depend on the damage sticking around the field, Crystal Cave is absolutely beautiful. For a supporter lineup, a little bit heavy just because, again, we don't play any support Pokemon, right? We don't have any draw support Pokemon. We're not Bibrel, no Inteleon. Starbirth is our main search ability, I suppose, but that's why a heavy supporter lineup is very important. We have 3 Boss's Orders, 3 Marnie, 2 Melanie, and 4 Professor's Research. I love the Melanie. This is another way you can power up another Goodra, or if you miss the attachment on Arceus for sure. For the tools, we have Big Charm just to make our Goodra even bigger. And the important one here is Big Parasol. This is a way to block the Giratina V-Star attack that essentially one-hit KOs you, so that's pretty good, as well as blocking stuff like Sableye. So Big Parasol, very important card. For the energy lineup, pretty even split here, which is kind of funny. We're playing 4 double turbo, 5 metal, and 5 water energy. Again, just an even split. I think the deck is performing very well. Again, the 1 tech card, switch it out depending on what you think the metagame is. And with that, let's go ahead and check if we can get some wins. All right, so we do have a game in our hands here. Unfortunately, we do start with a mulligan, but that's A-okay. Our opponent also mulligans there. Let's see what we both open up with. It looks like I'm actually going to mulligan, and my opponent gets a draw. We get to take a look at their hand. Looks like it is Lost Box. That's what we're up against. And I think, again, our deck has an absolutely great matchup against this. The Lost Box decks is probably one of the main reasons why you should even consider Goodra in the first place. Opening hand it's not bad. All we're looking for opening hand typically is the energy attachment. Looks like we mulligan 4 cards there, which is bound to happen. Again, we don't play too many basics. We play 4 Arceus, 2 Goodras, the Zamazenta, and the Gardevoir, so not too many there. So do expect that. Looks like our opponent, again, Lost Zone box. They're going to Flower Gathering on the Comfy. They get to look at the top 2 cards of their deck, put 1 into the Lost Zone, 1 into their hand, and if they could get a Comfy chain going, they just need to power up the Lost Zone to be able to to do a lot of their strong attacks, like the Sableye, the Charizard. Can confirm now that they are playing the Charizard because we do see the fire energy. They do get the Battle VIP pass as well. Should have expected that with a really big hand. Let's see what they decide to establish. Wouldn't be surprised to see something like just triple Comfey, just double Comfey coming into the bench, something like that. But let's see what our opponent decides to find. Looks like they're doing a quick deck check there. Yeah, and it's going to be the Cramorant and the Comfey. Again, Cramorant probably one of their better turn 1 attackers, but they did go first. That means we're not going to take any damage this turn just yet. They do attach to the Comfey. There's a Psychic Energy to power up stuff like the Sableye, and they go Flower Selecting again. Something we haven't seen yet is a Scoop Up Net, right? So typically you want to use a Scoop Up Net first before you start retreating. Makes me feel like maybe they don't have one just yet. And might just be a Flower Selecting, putting 2 cards in the Lost Zone. Again, that's something we have to keep an eye on. And I wouldn't be surprised just a pass from here. Because, yeah, there we go. Let's see what we get. Double Turbo would be great. Looks like nothing just yet. We could use it. We're going to use the Pokégear. Grab a Marnie. Definitely like the Marnie, just so that we can put their hand size down to a little bit lower. Go ahead and use the Marnie there. We opt to just attach the water energy, saying, you know what? We're not going to accelerate just yet. We're going to take our time because that was a good decision because we didn't draw any energy right there. So I believe here, I don't think Radiant Gardevoir does anything in this matchup. So we're going to go ahead and pass the turn. If anything, Radiant Gardevoir is a liability. That is something they can opt to knock out with Sableye. So something we have to try and do is not put any of these cards in the discard pile as well, right? Because if it's in the discard pile, they could essentially use Echoing Horn to get it back. And there we go. We're going to see another Flower Selecting here. They just have to do it twice to be able to attack with a Cramorant. Looks like they had to banish a Clara there. Very tough choice. There's a switch card as well. No Scoop Up Nets just yet. There it is. There's the second Flower Gathering. Let's see what it is. Looks like they banished a Quick Ball. Not too bad. Do they have the switch to get into the Cramorant? That is 4 cards in the Lost Zone now. That means Cramorant's ability does activate where if there are 4 cards in the Lost Zone, this attack does not require any energy. So it looks like they use Pokestop there, grabbing a Scoop Up Net. So they did have the switch. Maybe just off the Pokestop and just go spit innocently for 110 damage. Not too bad. We have access to an Ultra Ball. Just a matter of what we Ultra Ball now. I think here we grab the Marnie again. I believe Research could be good too, but that means the Gardevoir goes into the discard pile, and that's something, again, we want to avoid. And just getting a Marnie chain going against Lost Zone box seems pretty good. Looks like we're going to just consider stuff here. Again, the Gardevoir, something we shouldn't be benching. They have 6 cards in hand. Yeah, I think Marnie should be the play here. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and grab the Marnie. Evolution Incense, easy grab. Just grabbing the Arceus VSTAR. And we can even Ultra Ball away the Escape Rope and the Quick Ball to get the Goodra as well. Yeah, we're just double checking the Radiant Gardevoir. I don't think it protects you from Radiant Charizard. It's only Pokemon V. Yes. We're just going to go ahead and Ultra Ball the Quick Ball and the Escape Rope to establish the Goodra as well. And you know what? It would be really, really nice to just find a double turbo energy off the Marnie. If we can do that, that means we can save the Hisuian Goodra's VSTAR ability. It looks like we're going to miss out on it, but that should be fine. Again, the most ideal scenario was if we got the VSTAR ability. We're just going to go ahead and Starbirth here. Let's see what we decide to grab. The double turbo is definitely important. Big Parasol is tempting, but Arceus is already damaged. Maybe setting up a second Goodra could make sense, but looks like it is prized. Maybe just grabbing a Marnie for the next turn also makes sense. Do we have a supporter? We have a research, but again, I think we like keeping the Marnie chain alive, right? And we're just going to go ahead and attach the double turbo there and go for the Trini Nova. That means both our Pokemon are now established. We're ready to go. There we go. There's the metal, water, and the metal energy. Let's see what we grab. We got the Goodra V. I guess it would make sense to just set it up just in case. I don't think if we're gonna attack with the Arceus again, I think it makes sense to just set it up. You know, they have just to make sure we making use of the full 6 prizes, making use of as much HP as we can. But looks like our opponent is just gonna take a page from our book, just hit us with a Marnie as well. The fact that they attached the Psychic Energy already to the Confe, that means we're not gonna be seeing a Sableye anytime soon. Couple Crystal Cave is not too bad at all. That's definitely the ideal stadium. And from here, it should be as simple as just sitting on this hand, right? I don't think we need too much. As long as we're taking prizes every turn, which we are, we should be okay. We could even use a quick ball here, grab the Goodra V, and like I said, we can establish it. If they decide to split damage between Goodras, we can go Crystal Cave, heal both of them, which is really nice. And yeah, let's see if my opponent even has an attack here. We don't see the Cramorant go hit the field just yet, and we're nowhere near the Sableye hits as well, or Radiant Charizard. So I believe Cramorant's the only valid attacker. And yeah, it looks like it's just gonna be a pass. We're gonna quick ball away the quick ball, grab ourselves the Goodra. Yeah, the Goodra there, and we're just gonna attack. Bench it. Yeah, we're just going to attack with the Trinity Nova, keeping the water energy in hand, you know, just in case we just opt to attach that anywhere else. There's a lot of the times you have to overextend energies on your Pokemon just to prepare it for Hyper Potion, just like right there, the Hyper Potion. So that one extra energy could go into something like the Goodra. If we get another metal, we can discard both with the Hyper Potion, or if we draw into DTE, that's the most ideal position. This is also a way where we can heal the Arceus. It does have 110 damage right there. We can opt to just retreat it potentially and just heal it with a Hyper Potion. Yeah, we can attach the water energy to the Arceus, pay the 2 retreat costs, and even heal it with a Hyper Potion, but it makes it a boss target. I don't mind losing the Arceus. We're still very, very ahead here. And we're getting to that mark where it's just the crucial turn, right? Once around turn 3, that's always the most crucial turn for the single prize decks, because at that point, we're an even playing field. They have to take a prize card every turn, just like we have to take a prize card every turn. So let's see here. If they get the prizing, if they get the knockout here right now, it puts them ahead for sure. But I don't see a way where they can do that unless they go right in Charizard Raihan or something. That's just the big upside of just playing beefy dudes. We're playing our 200 HP, 270 HP Pokemon, and that's all they have to pick from, and we have healing options. I feel very, very confident in the game state right now. Even if they go into Sableye, looks like they went into Sableye just to be able to use the Confe again. Doesn't look too good. If they pass this turn, they're definitely in huge trouble. And let's see here. It looks like, again, they've already used Confe. They haven't used Colress. They go for the escape rope. I don't mind that. That helps me put my Goodra in the active. Now I can Hyper Potion the Arceus on the bench without having to worry about it getting boss stalled, because we can attach the water energy as well, just in case. So we have one free switch out option. They're going to go for the Lost Mine. Let's see where they decide to put the damage. If it goes on Goodra, that's fine. We have Crystal Cave. If it goes on Arceus, that's fine. We have Hyper Potion. And essentially, it's we're going to negate this Sableye attack no matter what, right? 120. We're going to turn it to either 0 or 90 at least, just by healing with the Crystal Cave. Looks like they opt to split the damage. You love to see that. That means, we even get the double turbo energy, which is perfect. That means we can Crystal Cave, heal 40 damage, attach the double turbo, and heal with the Hyper Potion. We essentially healed more damage that turn than the damage dealt. Now our board is looking fairly healthy. In fact, I would have been probably more comfortable if we didn't even have the second Goodra V, but it's nice to have for sure. And this is it. This is the pivotal moment for my opponent. I'm down to 3. They're down to 6. If I take 3 turns to take 3 prizes, I win the game. They have to take 3 turns to take 6 prizes at the best case scenario, and I don't see that happening with this deck. Again, there's nothing in our discard pile. Our discard pile is clean of low HP Pokemon, essentially forcing them to do damage to the big guys. And again, I don't see a way they can do it. They have to at least maybe even Radiant Charizard 3 times to be able to take this game. They have to Radiant Charizard 3 times as well as Escape Rope almost every single time. Right? That is their way to victory, and that is one tough flow chart to follow for sure. But they did get the Clara. That's one piece of the puzzle. But with this deck, I don't think unless they play something like Mirage Gate, they can't really power up the Charizard right here, right now. It really essentially comes out at 2 prizing, pretty much, for the Lost Zone deck. So it's something you don't have to worry about. They could go into Sableye, but again, where do you put the damage? You're not taking a knockout this turn. If we put it on Goodra, I can heal it. You can put it on the Arceus. That's where it's going to stick. But I'm not attacking with the Arceus anyway. There's 30 damage on the Goodra, which is important, right? That means if they go Escape Rope, Boss's Orders, attack with Radiant Charizard, they do take a knockout on this Goodra V-Star. So the 30 damage there is important, but we do have the Crystal Cave to just get rid of that. So I wouldn't blame them to just, I don't know, like put damage on the Goodra just enough so that if I heal it, it's still down to 30. But again, this was it. This was the pivotal turn, and they didn't get the knockout. We essentially just win this game from here, right? Because from now, we have 3 Pokemon that can take 3 prizes. Unless they take a multi-prize turn now, we should definitely have the path to victory. Looks like they decide to split the damage onto the Goodras. That means we heal even more. He heals 60 damage, right? We healed half of what the Sableye did. I didn't even get the umbrella in play yet. Imagine if I had the umbrella instead of the big charm. They can't even do anything with the Sableye. So again, we've seen this with Lost Zone box be very, very popular in online tournaments. Topping multiple tournaments, multiple late nights even. Again, these are tournaments with over 400 people. And if you have a good matchup against that, I think that essentially makes you a good deck. So again, Goodra could be a huge meta call for the upcoming regional championships for sure. And I 100% expect people to play this. So you definitely have to be prepared. You have to have the way to get through Goodra for sure, in my opinion. And again, opponent here just goes for the Chorus. They have 7 cards left in deck. But again, I only need to take 2 prizes. They need to take 6. We don't play any Pokemon VMAXs. The damage on board is negligible. Because of the big charm, Goodra should be able to survive a Radiant Charizard even with the Escape Rope boss play. There's nothing they can boss stall. They can't get rid of my stadium there. But again, they missed out on attack. That's 100% game. We're just going to go ahead, Pokégear, just grab the Melanie, maybe just hold on to it. We'll go ahead and Rolling Iron down to the last prize. And yeah, I think, again, we got to showcase the power of how dominant this Goodra is if you get all the healing. Or if you get, again, it was just 1 Hyper Potion. We didn't even get to use the Moisture V-Star attack, right? Can you imagine if we had that at our disposal as well? We essentially have so many ways to just cancel out their turns, which is absolutely crazy. They go for the scoop up net on the Sableye. Good game to my opponent there. And that was Arceus Goodra V-Star. Again, guys, not going to lie. When Lost Origins was released, or when I saw the set list, when everyone was looking at the big devil dragon himself, I personally was looking at this pink gooey guy for sure. I just think it's very interesting, the fact that it's huge damage mitigation and you're essentially 2-shotting with someone. If you can turn that, because of the damage mitigation, your opponent is essentially 3-shotting you, you win every game, right? If you're forcing your opponent to take 3 hits to knock you out while you take 2, you're winning. It's just a matter of establishing that board. and being able to draw the right healing cards at the right time, in my opinion. And also running into, of course, the right matchups, right? The fact that we have a great Lost Zone box matchup is amazing. Again, Lost Zone was topping tournaments left and right with over 100 people, over 400 people even in the latest late night. So the fact that we can breathe easy when we see that deck makes this deck absolutely amazing, right? Something you should definitely pick up. If you already have Arceus Duraludon, pick up a couple of Goodras, should be fairly cheap, and just switch them out. Again, probably finding the right tech card as well is, again, another meta call, right? If you don't expect any Milk Tanks and you expect more Curums, maybe the offensive or defensive Zamazenta could work for sure. And the fact that, again, we play Water Energy and Metal, that means we could even tech in, I don't know, Water Pokemon, maybe Starmie V-Star? Could even Starmie V, just in case. But no, I 100% think something like an Aegislash is definitely good. Just so that we don't lose it against Milk Tank. That's one of the downsides. Again, Duraludon has the pierce through anything attack, right? That's definitely something we lost. But again, 100% love this deck. I think it's so much fun to play. Very easy to build as well, especially if you already have the Arceus Dura or even just Arceus's. This is fairly simple. I prefer this, again, over the Goodra Lost Zone engine, but definitely give that a go as well. Let me know what you guys prefer down in the comments below. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and put this to a close. Again, my name is PrimeTimeWizardTV. If you guys liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified when new videos do come out. I'll see you all next time. Thank you.
The Shuffle Squad is proudly sponsored by Atlas Collectibles, the best place to buy any trading card game product online. Visit atlastcg.com and at the checkout screen, make sure to use code TSS12 to save an unbeatable 12% off your entire order. Atlas Collectibles will ship your product anywhere in the world, so make sure you're taking advantage of the 12% savings with TSS12. And if Pokemon is not your thing, don't worry. Go to atlastcg.com and see all the other amazing trading card game products they have there to offer.
The Shuffle Squad is partnered with PTCGO Store to provide our community with the best access to Pokemon TCG codes. They have codes available 24/7, instant email delivery, and you can save 5% off by using code TSS5. If you're a YouTube member or Patreon supporter, you'll have access to a special code that gets you 10% off. So what are you waiting for? Use code TSS5 today and save 5% on your next order of codes on any codes available at PTCGOstore.com.
Pokéx Word, the best place to get your fill of Pokemon-inspired puzzles. New puzzles are posted every day, and they recently launched a new Guess That Pokemon puzzle, which is a ton of fun to play. Go check them out at PokéXWord.com and be sure to follow them on Twitter for your chance to win a ton of PTCGO codes every month.
Check out the Late Night Series Season 6, brought to you by myself, Zach Lesage, and the Shuffle Squad. We're going to be running a bunch of sick events for the Pokemon community, and they start on August 30th. So one thing you might be noticing here is that there's an EU time and an NA time. We have one at 12 p.m. Eastern, which works out to about 5 p.m. in London. And then we have one at 7 p.m. Eastern, which should help out a lot of players on the West Coast play in this event. That being said, we still have a lot of cool things going on. Expect similar prizing that we've had for other Late Night Series events. Expect better staffing, expect better tournament experiences, and of course we do have a stream going up for this season as well, and I will be streaming the event on Twitch. That being said, we have the whole season up on the Play Limitless website. Late Night 51 all the way through 70 runs until we hit the Invitational on November 5th. So check that out, sign up today, and support Zach Lesage Events and the Shuffle Squad. See you there.